When I was at John Lee's funeral, I wasn't able to cry. I looked around me, and I looked at all the faces of folks that we had both grown up with, our friends, our family, and tears were streaming down their faces, but mine was cold and mine was dry. I couldn't cry because all I could do was think back to this friend that I knew, one of my best friends, this kid that I grew up with. And I thought this guy, John Lee, was a leader. He always seemed unbreakable. When we were together, he was always the guy who just ordered me around. He ordered all our friends around. My dad, my mom called him the mafia boss because he just ordered all of us around, told us what to do. It was hard to reconcile those memories with the urn in front of me with his ashes in them. And as I sat there and I still wasn't able to cry, my face was still dry, it was hard for me to reconcile these ashes, and it was hard for me to reconcile these memories of him being such a leader with this thought of him alone in his apartment room one night with a gun in his hand after years of suffering with depression without telling anybody. And as I sat there and looked all around me, I began to think of my own history of mental health, something that I haven't told very many people. I thought back to fourth grade when I would sit stock still in my bed at night, just with terror running through my veins and just fear clenching at my stomach. And I was certain that someone was going to come through the doors or the windows and slit my parents' throats as they were asleep and bash my head in with a baseball bat. And to prevent this, I went to every door, every window, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, to make sure that they were locked to protect my family, and no one knew. In 5th grade, my compulsion changed, and germs started to consume me. Germs, I felt them crawling in my mouth, I felt them crawling around my body. And when I was in class, I would excuse myself once, twice, 3 times. I would go to the bathroom and I would frantically scrub my hands and spit out all the germs I felt in my mouth in the sink, still trying to hide it. But eventually I wasn't able to hide it anymore, and I began to, as I walked down the hallways, I would spit into sinks, spit into water fountains, spit into trash cans, and I began to spit into my own shirt. And my friends noticed, and my teachers noticed, and my friends began to make fun of me. Why do you have these stains on your shirt? What's wrong with you? I didn't know what was wrong with me. And then finally, in 6th grade, my compulsion changed one more time. And my 6th grade math teacher asked me to come to her classroom. And I sat there and I was sitting at her desk, and I saw her right in front of me. And she put this piece of paper out on the desk with names of dozens of my classmates that said, Will Morris is a child molester and he needs to stop. Because my new compulsion was I would reach out and just in class, 6th grade kid, I would just reach out and touch people's hair. I didn't know it was wrong. It wasn't just hair. I wish my classmates had known this. It wasn't just hair. It was leaves. It was flower petals. It was the wall. It was just everything. Just some compulsion made me feel like I had to touch these things to be happy and to stop feeling uncomfortable. And I didn't know any better. I didn't know that I was hurting anybody. That night, when I went back to my room after my teacher showed me that petition, I was in my bed, turned off the lights, and as I closed my eyes and the blackness started to settle in around me, all I could feel was pain and despair and loneliness and isolation. And as I faded into sleep, I told myself the same words that I would tell myself for days and weeks and months afterwards every night that I went to sleep. I said, if I had a gun, I would do it. If I had a gun I would end it right now so I wouldn't have to feel this way. Enter my mom. So my mom is a middle school teacher. She went to the middle school. She knew what happened with my math teacher. For years, she had done research. She looked up, these symptoms. She saw that they were, similar to symptoms of obsessive compulsive disorder. But she wasn't sure. She thought I was maybe going to outgrow them, so she didn't really do anything too drastic. She talked to me. She talked me through these situations. She talked to my friends, trying to make them understand that I couldn't help some of the things that I did. It was compulsion. But finally, she saw me, and she saw how isolated I was. And one day, she decided that I needed help. That I needed therapy. I needed medication. And if it weren't for that, I would not be alive today. I guarantee it. And if it weren't for that, I would not be here with y'all to tell this story. And I thank God that I did get help. And as I was back at the funeral, and I was sitting there, still couldn't cry, and I just looked up at my friend's ashes in that urn, I thought, I wish he had gotten help too. I wish he could have talked to people, because God knows that these things are so much easier when you have people to help you, when you have friends and family to help you. And most of all, I wish he had talked to me. Thank you.